This country is literally destroying the middle class. Like, do we even have a middle class anymore? Or is it just like the haves and the have-nots? Because the haves are really, they're having, and the have-nots are really struggling. And I'm getting so stinking frustrated because I don't know how much more I can help my adult kids.
I want to know so badly the percentage of people my age that their parents are helping them. And that is completely fine. I wish that I was in that position. I think sometimes I feel a little bit jealous because I know that my friends definitely have their parents helping them.
We are being lied to about the state of the economy.
At this point, I seriously think Gen Z is just screwed.
Millennials and Gen Z are dealing with the gradual erosion of what the American dream was supposed to look like.
The skyrocketing cost of living has left millions of people working at full-time jobs or a number of part-time jobs still unable to afford a place to live.
Day 3 of Uber Eats after an 8-hour shift at my job to provide for my 4 kids and stay-at-home wife.
I know several young men right now in their mid-20s who are living at home. They have full-time jobs. The rest of us are living in apartments. I get married in 4 months. We are not buying a house.
It's not fair. I feel like I'm perpetuating the lie that got us here in the first place. This whole American dream was because people kept saying the things that I'm telling my son right now, like work hard, go to school, get an education. Like, what am I doing?
Atlanta and outskirts is crazy. I imagine the whole country's like this, but it's more people in higher populated areas. But I mean, it's literally gotta be 50 cars out here, and you can tell we all are posted up.
So I've been in the construction industry for a little over 15 years, and something that I've noticed, the first 10 years, I built nothing but new construction apartment complexes in Los Angeles and Orange County. 2 things that I noticed. One, the majority of the apartments we built were luxury apartments. And 2, some of the apartments we built were low-income government housing apartments. And nothing we built was just a regular apartment. Nothing was classified as just a regular apartment. So basically, nothing was for the middle class. And I noticed that about 4, maybe 5 years in, I'm like, man, like, hey guys, this is the last time you'll be in this apartment complex because none of us could afford to live here. You know, we'd all tease each other and joke about it, but it was kind of serious. So I kind of seen that we were going in this direction where sooner or later we wouldn't really be able to afford, people wouldn't be able to afford to really just rent anywhere. And I didn't expect it to be where it is today, but the housing prices are ridiculous. And I get it. Nobody wants to invest in building a regular apartment complex. Nobody wants to make less money. But at a certain point, we have to think, where's the middle ground? Where's the middle ground? Where do we meet in the middle? Why can't we all win?
I know several young men right now in their mid-20s who are living at home. They have full-time jobs. The rest of us are living in apartments. I get married in 4 months. We are not buying a house. I saw someone on Twitter call this permanent adolescence. That's exactly what it is. And it's going to get worse. Donald Trump just said he wants people that already own homes to see their home values go up. That's sounding a lot like I will never own a home. When we enrich boomers and Gen Xers at the expense of Gen Z, we are severing our ability to leave the nest. Why do you think people are having kids so late? I'm a capitalist, but I will tell you this is exactly why democratic socialist figures like Zohran Mamdani are gaining so much popularity, because at least someone is listening to us. The future I think a lot of us see for ourselves is that we continue to live in boxes, AI replaces all of our jobs, and we have to live off some stimmy check from the government. That's bleak.
Millennials and Gen Z are dealing with the gradual erosion of what the American dream was supposed to look like. And it doesn't happen in this one big moment of clarity. It's a slow, gradual process of making financial decisions every day that really wears on you. I'll give you an example. Last year, my wife and I bought a home, and we're in New York, so obviously high cost of living area. We had to put down $200,000 for that home. And I remember sitting there, sending the wire to the attorney for the escrow the night before closing, and just being like, this is insane. Like, is this even worth it? The reason was because the neighborhood we were buying in was not even the first choice or even really second choice of neighborhood that I would want to live in. And I know that sounds really entitled and privileged, and I don't want to come off that way. I'm very grateful to have even been in the position to purchase a home. But my point is that as a millennial, you have to do so many things right to get to that position. And then once you get there, you're spending that much money on a place that's like not even really like your first choice of wanting to be in. And so ultimately what I'm trying to say is we are the first generation that really has to pay more for everything, but downgrade our life in every way, which is why I think you see millennials and Gen Z just really not even believing in the concept of the American dream anymore. And this coincides with the rise of buy now, pay later services and just the rise of consumer debt. People feel like, why am I even saving for a house I'm probably never going to be able to afford in a future that doesn't exist? I might as well go to Coachella and enjoy that fun experience in the now.
Things are just so randomly expensive. Like, I need a ladder, literally for one task. So I go to Home Depot, like, oh, no problem, I'll get a ladder. Why are ladders $100?
We are being lied to by about the state of the economy and how we are doing right now financially. Some people will say that our inflation is around 30 to 32%. No, our inflation is anywhere from 55 to 65%. See, inflation was 35% 2 years ago. Now it's doubled from that. And you know that's true because a buggy of groceries from 2015 that was $215 is now $681. You don't get from $215 to $681 with 32%. No. And it's everything. It's everything you buy. Me and my wife went to get some food on the way home yesterday, and we stopped at Crystal's and got 24 Crystals, no fries, no drinks, just the Crystals. It was $48. A couple years ago, that was 18 bucks. It's $48 now. The economy is so bad, no one is going to survive much longer. And what they're doing is they are purposely destroying they are crippling the dollar on purpose. Because if you make the dollar worthless to the point of we have no more buying power anymore, well, it's going to put us over a barrel and force us to switch to a new currency. And of course, what's going to be right there to be ready for us? Digital currency. They'll say, well, digital currency is safe. It's safe. Nobody can mess with it. It's the best way to go. But why would you want digital currency? Why would they want it? It's because everything that you buy can be turned off. See, digital currency can be controlled. So if they say, well, you bought too much ammunition this month, you can't buy any more ammo. Or you bought too much meat this month, you can't buy any more meat. You've done so much driving this month already, you don't need to drive anymore. It's too much gas. You can't buy any more gas. Cash means freedom. Cash is king. If you have cash money, that is ultimate freedom because you can buy whatever you want and nobody knows. It's private. It's personal. You can buy whatever you want. It's cash. But as soon as you have to use digital currency, there's a trail of breadcrumbs everywhere. They know everything you buy. They know everything. And if they can decide one day that you said something on social media that they didn't like, or you go too much against the grain, and they turn off your money, and you can't buy nor sell nothing. Now, what do you think that sounds like? You can't buy or sell unless you have it. It's coming.
So I lied to my son today, my 5-year-old. He asked me a pretty simple question that any 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, any kid would probably ask their parent. And to me, it hit different because today he said, why do I have to go to school? I don't want to. And I told him, because it's important. To get an education is important. To be smart and to understand how things work is important. I told him, so that way in the future, you can get a good job and you can earn money so you can get a good house and have a nice life for yourself. You gotta go to school. You gotta get smart to do that, And it's getting harder to do these things and say these things to him because I really am lying to him, and I am fully aware of that. And I think that's the worst part of all of this is that I've been lying to myself, obviously, about just trying to maintain a positivity of some shred through all of this, but I think that I'm sure a lot of moms share this feeling. It's like, well, what do we tell our kids? What is the motivational factor? Like, go to college and get into massive amounts of debt for a job that you might not be able to even get, for a degree who knows it's going to be there or not, for a field who knows if it's going to exist, in a country that who knows if it's going to even be a country still. So you can afford a house that nobody can even afford today. I'm expecting him to be able to afford it in 20 years. Maybe if he gets sick, what is he going to do? Afford health care? Where? What am I cheerleading him for? Like, I feel so bad because he is like the only bright light in this world I feel like I have left to be motivated for. And I feel like it's a lie. I shouldn't feel like this. I have what I need. I have a home, like a beautiful marriage to my husband, his father. We've created a family, jobs. We have everything that I was told would be the dream, like the dream, the end goal. And none of it feels real because none of this is actually real. Everything, property taxes on the house, that's going to just keep going up. So there's people who are losing their homes because they can't afford it. Insurance for what? For married couples and now even for kids, and just keeps racking up. So what was the whole family goal for? I mean, it was go to school for what? All these degrees that they're shutting down? Thank God I didn't go into nursing or something like that. What are we telling our kids? And I try to be really like as honest as I can with him. He's only 5.5, but he knows who the bad man is. He knows what bad people do. We can drive past like construction sites where they're clearing trees and land, and he'll sit there and call it out and say, that's bad. Like, don't do that. That's bad for the environment. Like, we need to save land and areas and trees. And I'm so scared, like, at what point do I stop lying to him about all of this? Because it's not fair. I feel like I'm perpetuating the lie that got us here in the first place. This whole American dream was because people kept saying the things that I'm telling my son right now, like work hard, go to school, get an education. Like, what am I doing? What are we all doing? I don't know what I'm doing.
Day 3 of Uber Eats after an 8-hour shift at my job to provide for my 4 kids and stay-at-home wife. Here we go. All right, so I'm on my way to Daytona Beach right now. I did shower, change my clothes, get something to eat, but now I'm ready to go, and yeah, I'm excited to see what the night brings. I'll turn on the app once I get there.
So I just hit this random pothole in the road. Definitely hit the bumper of my car, but I don't see any damage, so we're gonna keep going.
All right, first order of the evening, 2.4 miles, $6. Let's do it. All right, this is a shop and deliver order, so I'm walking into Dollar General right now.
So I need to pick up 5 items. So it has me scan the items, guys. There we go.
All right, so far so good. That wasn't so bad. Check it out, that seems pretty good. I just finished my first delivery. Now I'm going to 7-Eleven. I keep seeing comments telling me I should do DoorDash. So on my next video, I'm gonna do DoorDash and see how it compares. All right, it was definitely a little bit sketchy in there, but I'm fine. We're gonna deliver this stuff. It should be good. Come down the driveway to the screening area. It's pitch black out here at this house. All right, guys, I survived. Got another order coming in. Let's do it. I'm hoping that'll be my weirdest one of the night, but hey, life is full of surprises, so. This Pizza Hut right in front of me, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. It's dark. All right, that took forever. It sure smells good, though. I'm really starting to put a lot of miles in my car doing this so much.
Hello.
Hey, this is your Uber Eats driver. I'm looking for your place. I don't really see any numbers on the building. but I think I'm at the right spot right outside the door. Hey, oh yeah, it had me on the other side. Yeah. No, that's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great evening.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
I don't know why you won't tell me that you're out there as opposed to inside. So.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm glad I found you. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You too. All right, I'm parked in front of Steak and Shake. It is pretty slow tonight. Remember, I'm paid by the order, not by the hour. So, yeah. All right, guys, for some reason, my Uber Eats is an hour behind. But as you can see, I started basically at 6:03 p.m., ended at 8:36 p.m. So I did this for 2.5 hours. I made $15.02. All right, so I did just do the math on this. That comes out to $6.01 per hour that I made for the time I did this. Keep in mind, that is before taxes, before gas, and before the wear and tear on my car. So yeah, do you think doing Uber Eats is worth it, guys? And do you think Uber Eats is paying their delivery drivers fairly? I'd like to hear in the comments below.
Food prices are getting absolutely ridiculous. Last week, I paid $5.79 for a bag of Ghirardelli baking chips, and today they were $7.39 for the 10-ounce bag that I literally bought just last week. Not even last week, on January 4th, so what, 6 days ago. The 20-ounce bag was $10.99, and now it's like $13.99. These food prices are getting ridiculous. Like, what is with that jump? That is crazy. And mind you, this is from the exact same store. I don't care. Nothing deserves a $2.50 price jump.
At this point, I seriously think Gen Z is just screwed. In 2026, Gen Z just simply earns way less than it costs to survive. The average Gen Zer makes about $25K a year, which is around $21,000 a month, and spends basically all of it on bills or rent. Nearly half of Gen Z runs out of money before the end of the month ends, and that's not just budgeting, that's just survival at that point. And don't get me started on student loan debt, because the average Gen Zer also has about $30K of student loan debt on top of all of that. We are spending more on essentials than any other previous generation, and wages just keep going down, and the cost of living just keeps going up. You're not failing in life. The system is just has completely fucked us over. Budgeting does help, don't get me wrong. I still use mine to budget and track all of my expenses, but the system is still failing us.
You can barely even survive in our system if you live on integrity and ideals, if you don't come from a family that already has money. So in order to get money, which is how you survive, you have to almost always go against, you have to betray yourself, you have to sell your time, and our system rewards and actually requires from you narcissism, greed, subservience just to survive. But if you want to rise, then greed, the willingness to exploit, being good at participating in a human ranking system. You have to have bad qualities to survive. Do you know how hard it has been for me to learn how to survive without selling myself in this system because I was not born into money?
You want to know what I've just been thinking about? The absolute endless buffet of taxation that the government has a seat at every course. I mean, as a roofer, right? If I want to start from the very beginning and I want to open a business, right? I have to pay the government to open a business and register that business with my state in order for that business to be taxed. Now, in Florida, I have to pay the state to get licensed. And then I have to pay for ongoing education to maintain that license. All fees to the government. But what's funny then is for then me to operate, if I want to work in any towns or municipalities, I have to pay to be registered just to exist and operate in those municipalities. Then, in order to actually do work, obviously, I have to buy material in Florida. For those materials to be allowed to be used, the manufacturer has to pay to have those products approved and reviewed every couple years, and those fees are taxed, that the material then ends up passing down to me in the form of cost. But then for them to sell that material to me, there's sales tax when I buy that material, and then they're being taxed on the revenue that they have left over. Then whenever I go to use that material, in order to use that material on a job, I have to pay for a permit in order to be able to do work on said job. Then once that permit is paid for, any income I make from that job that was already taxed 10 ways till Sunday is then taxed on the business level. And then the money that's paid to my employees is taxed on their end. And it's just crazy to me. Isn't that insane?
Cost of living increases are not raises. Like we just did at our company that I'm the CEO of, we just did cost of living increases, and we did them for everybody in the company. Social Security Administration said 2.8% was the cost of living increase. Great. Everybody gets that cost of living because that's the pace of inflation, just to keep up. If you are a company who's out there and you're saying, hey, here's your raise of 3%, when really it's just cost of living, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. You need to give raises separately from cost of living increases, and raises come from doing a great job. Cost of living increases are just to keep up with inflation. That's it. It is your basic duty as a leader to make sure that people are taken care of, and moving people up to keep up with inflation is just a good thing to do. I don't believe that the government should tell us to do this. I just believe that you need to do it as a leader. Do the right thing. Take care of your people.
Hey guys, I'm at Walmart. Check this out. Look at the price on these snow boots for kids. This is absolutely absurd. We're supposed to keep our kids' feet warm. $50 for a pair of snow boots? Insane.
This is one of those things I talk to my friends about, but I've never said publicly. Do you ever wonder how people are affording things? Like, my husband and I do pretty decently. We own a home. We each have a car with car payments. We have a moderate amount of student loan debt. We have one kiddo. We live in a rural town outside of Portland, Oregon. I feel like as far as millennials go, we're probably pretty middle of the road. And I think our spending is probably pretty middle of the road too. I budget, I try to watch our bills. We don't do a lot of shopping, but Amazon shows up more than I'd like. But then I see people who are like regular, and by the way, no judgment passing on these. This is just me wondering how this is possible. I see people who are regularly getting their nails done, regularly getting their hair done. They're constantly buying new home decor items. They're constantly buying new clothing that's on trend. Like, I just watched a video of a woman talking about how her costs for a pedicure are $200 for every pedicure. And like, while that's great, and I'm sure it's like a gorgeous pedicure, I don't doubt that the service is awesome. I'm just like, how is somebody affording to do that regularly? And moreover, like, how are there enough people who can afford to do that to like make that service worth it, I guess, is part of it too.
How come it's always we can't afford to pay our workers more than $15 an hour, but never we can't afford to pay our CEOs millions of dollars a year?
Guys, I think I'm crashing out. This is the indicator of the recession. You can't tell me toothpaste is all $7, $7, $7, $7, $7, $10. Like, dude.
How is anyone affording anything? Because everything is expensive. It's like looking at Zillow and there's like a 2-bedroom townhouse that's a fixer-upper and it's like $875,000. Get bent. Or you're paying like $1,200 a month for some shitty Honda that like screams when you start the engine. Like, I don't understand. And like concert tickets, I know I've mentioned this before, but they're like $600 just to like sit behind a pole. But if you want like a decent area where you can breathe the same air as the freaking stage, it's like $900. What the? Or like all these people are going on these lavish vacations to like Greece or like Ireland. What? Or like kids' sports fees, they're like $300 and you get like some shitty polyester jersey and you don't even get shorts, it's just the jersey. Is this real life? So I'm convinced either one of a few things is happening. People are selling their feet for money. They're freaking selling plasma. They're literally selling nose nachos, or they're married to someone super wealthy, because I have no idea how the hell anyone is affording to live right now.
The only fix to our current situation is complete, intentional, and deliberate economic withdrawal. Now, economic withdrawal, to my understanding, is a little different from boycotting. Boycotting is withholding temporarily, looking for a change, right? And that's not going to work anymore. These people have shown their true colors. We are living in the world in their true colors, okay? Don't forget that. Economic withdrawal is complete withdrawal. The only power we have is money, right? That's just the truth, right? Wealth has conflated with survival, power. It is status. Wealth has been overconflated with way too many things. We have to pull our money out of these systems entirely and build new systems with the money we pull in our image. We are seeing now the 1%, and they're not even elites. They're not elites, excuse me. They are more so insecure addicts who coincidentally inherited, who got lucky, people. I mean, let's just talk about it how it is. They got lucky, but they also so happen to be narcissistic psychopaths who only care about wealth, right? We are living in their world, in their image, built by people who only care about wealth. We have to pull our wealth out of their systems, out of their hands, and show them that we understand where the real power is at, and we have to rebuild systems that benefit the people, the 99%, the proletariat, the working class. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Economic withdrawal starts as boycotting, but eventually turns into, we can do things better for ourselves, better than anybody else can, right? We're always listening to somebody who isn't present, who isn't within 5 miles of telling us what to do. Yet we are all going to our work with each other, doing the jobs, having fun with each other, upholding our communities, making our communities run. These people are only facilitators, mediators, because they inherited a bunch of money, or they don't have a shred of empathy or humanity in their bones, and they just decided to step on the backs of others to get what they wanted. These are the people that we're effectively listening to. After hearing that, would you want to continue listening to these folks? Economic withdrawal is the future. It is beyond protesting. It is us investing in ourselves, and realizing that we don't have to work for somebody else. The only reason we think we have to work for somebody else because slave culture has been perpetuated worldwide. And until we can deconstruct that and realize we are the ones who do the work, and we are the ones who should be building heaven on earth for ourselves, while they sit in their jets, they sit in different countries, they sit in their big ass houses, while their checks literally hit their account day in and day out. God bless.
I just checked my mail for the first time probably since October. My mortgage is going up in February. It's going from $228. Well, right now I pay $2,282.91 every month. It's going up to $2,547. Are they out of their mind? Why? Why is this happening? This looks like gibberish.
Guys, are we tripping right now? Or is mascara actually $25
for Lash Paradise?
Look, this is one of the mascaras I use, $21.99. Wait, what? $21.29.
Bro, even Great Lash. This is $17.
What?
$17, bro.
Are we tripping right
shit
now? Is this
$6?
I'm so confused.
What is actually happening?
I'm just going to lay myself bare here, because something that I really want and something which I really struggle with is that I really want to buy a house, and I'm 35 and I'm a first-time buyer. Like, how are first-time buyers in their 30s now affording to buy a house? Because I bought a house maybe 11 years ago when I was with my ex, and it was a 3-bedroom semi-detached house, and I bought it for 150 grand, and I literally only had to save 10 grand for deposit. Like, I lived at home and it took me like 8 months and I had 10 grand for deposit. Like, that now would be like fairly achievable. But if you want, like, I'm a mum, if you want a family home, and even a 3-bed semi would be great right now, but like, you need like at least 70, 80 grand for deposit. And with the cost of living and the cost of rent and the cost of food and like the cost of childcare and everything else, like, how are people my age, like, how am I always seeing people my age who are first time buyers? Like, is it that they've just been saving for like 20 years and have just been really, really savvy? Or is there something that I'm missing? Because it's something which like pretty much lives in my head rent free. And I'm like, am I ever going to achieve this? Because how are people doing this? So if you know the secret, if you know the secret sauce, please tell me.
My fiance and I are trying to buy a house, and it is brutal out there. There are 3 options that we can pursue: renting, buying a condo or townhouse, or buying a house. I'm going to walk you through why each of the 3 options are currently extremely poor. Renting a house in New Jersey, especially one near the Princeton area, is going to cost over $30,000 a year, with the average rent cost being between $3,000 to $4,000. So you multiply that by 12 months, that's $36,000 to $48,000 a year. Insane, especially if you're trying to get a nice spot. That's stuff that you don't get back anyway, so you're pretty much paying to just live there, and you will never get a return on asset for that. Condos and townhouses are just as bad, if not worse, because if you buy a townhouse or condo, you have to pay the HOA fees, which they'll list on Realtor.com as, say, $200 to $500. And in doing so, you think, okay, that's a consistent fee. It's not. New Jersey's the second state to pass a law that copycats Florida's, where if it's a 2-story townhouse or condo like area, the reserves need to cover the funding if something bad happens to them. In 2021, the collapse of the Champlain Towers in Surfside, Florida, caused other states to look into adding more funds to the reserves, so that they need to be able to pay down 85% of rebuilding all the structures if they end up collapsing. So there's going to be special assessments that are added that won't be put up front on Zillow or Realtor.com. And they probably won't even tell the homeowners anyway until it's about to happen. It's just like, by the way, you're going to have to pay this one-time special assessment. So if you want to get a condo or townhouse, you're going to need to search the reserve funding anyway, the reserve study anyway. And that's going to be brutal, because you're going to have to pay in so much more to get to that 85% by the year 2035. Finally, trying to buy a single-family home is brutal, because the ones I'm looking on Zillow, either they're completely unfinished basements, they've had mold, anything, of course, in realistic price range is tough. Some of them don't even have 4 sides to the building, like there's just no back. It's just brutal out there.
My mortgage is going up by over $500 a month, so let's talk about it. I live in a starter house. Like, if you saw my house, we would all agree that I live in a starter house, and my mortgage is already $4,300 a month. However, I got a letter in the mail saying that my mortgage is actually increasing, and it's now going to be $4,800 a month. It's going from $4,300 a month to $4,800 a month, and I've owned this house for like 18 months. I bought it in the summer of 2024, so do the math. It's not even been 2 years at this point, and that doesn't like factor in any of the improvements that I've made on this house. I've already poured over like $75,000 into this house. I'm constantly putting money into like updates, because it's outdated. It needs updates, it needs repairs, just like all of the things that come with being a homeowner. And a couple years ago, I made a video talking about why I never wanted to own a house, and I talked about things like this. And my feelings are the same. I am very grateful and very fortunate that I was able to buy a house in the area that I did buy a house in. Like, it is a great area, it's a great school district, but like, genuinely, the fact that I'm 28 years old and have a mortgage that is essentially $5,000 a month for a starter house, that I still have to like update and take care of and repair just feels absolutely criminal.
So I have a decent job. I make $28 an hour. I work almost full time. Sometimes the doctor I work for is out, so I don't get scheduled, or the day is not as full as it should be for the amount of assistance, so I miss some hours, but not very often. Most often I work a full work week. Why is it that I'm working a full work week, making a decent amount an hour, and I'm still not able to like pay my bills? Like, I have a daughter and it's just me and her, and like, I don't extravagantly spend my money. I'm driving a 2015. I'm wearing scrubs that are 4 sizes too big for me because I'm not replacing them. Like, I don't buy makeup, I don't buy hair products, I don't buy new clothes. Like, I don't really do any activities because I don't have the money to do it. How are people affording life? Like, I just feel stressed all the time. I'm stressed all the time about money. And I know they say that like money doesn't buy happiness. And I'm not saying that I'm not happy, because I feel fulfilled in my life with my child and with my friends. But like, if I wasn't stressed about buying groceries or getting gas so that I can make it to work, I would be a lot happier.
I'm drowning in credit card debt, and I don't know what to do. If you're seeing this video, you probably are also drowning in credit card debt, and I wish I knew how to help you, but I don't, because I don't even know what to do for me. So here's the story. I'm 30. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2, and I have something called cystic fibrosis. And back in November of last year, I left my career, and I had been a working person ever since I could get a permit, because my health was deteriorating, and my husband and I decided it was more important that I stay home with the kids and stop trying to work at the same time and consider my health first, because obviously, if you know what CF is, it already shortens my life expectancy, and my kids deserve for me to be here as long as possible. So we did that, and everything was okay because my husband worked really hard and he figured out a way to bridge the gap between the 2 incomes, and it was good until it wasn't. And then we started putting stuff on credit cards, and we couldn't pay those credit cards off like we were used to. And then a couple months ago, we regrouped, we figured some stuff out, and we found some extra money. We did some extra things to make some extra money, and we started putting that towards the debt. But then our escrow went up. It was severely deficient, so our mortgage payment went up by $400 a month, and took all of that extra money that we had found. And now I don't have the opportunity to go work. I don't have the opportunity, because of my health, to do anything else other than just take care of my kids and myself right now. And come next year, my husband's gonna try to do more stuff on the side from his actual career to make money.
This is really embarrassing, and I'm kind of exposing myself here, but I'm going to be sharing with you all the things that I wasted money on as I was actively growing my $13,000 of credit card debt. I am not in that spot anymore. I've cut my debt down to a little bit below $5,000. I'm also saving up at least $10,000 to bring my mom on an African safari when she retires. So I've really gotten a good handle on my finances, and I've gotten a lot more intentional and frugal. Starting off strong, the first thing is I used to spend $100 every week on a house cleaner for my tiny little apartment for just my cat and I. And she wasn't even that good. And then when I tried to cancel, she wouldn't give me my keys back. But that's besides the point. I spent $400 a month for somebody to clean my apartment. I literally took this money out of my savings account every week to Venmo her. I'm not gonna lie though, the feeling of coming home every Thursday to a spotless house was, it was incredible. Number 2, I used to shop at Whole Foods. I don't know what made me think that Whole Food shopping was in my budget. I was so incredibly delusional. I had no good reason for it. I just wanted to shop there. And my grocery bill would come out to like $300 each time, and that was just right on the credit card. I used to get my nails done every 2 weeks, which cost $100. I used to get these long, beautiful UV gel nails. I miss them so much. I love having my nails done, but that was an unnecessary expense. I used to get Botox in my face, and I forget how many units I would get. I think either 100 or 1,000. I got a lot. Not gonna lie, I do miss having it, but I mean, it's just not in my budget. This one I stopped doing at some point, but I was doing this for a while. I used to get lip filler. Lip filler is so expensive. Lip filler alone was $850. All of those injectables right on my credit card. Remember one day I walked out of the injectable place and I just spent $1,700 on injectable right on my credit card. That was the price of my rent. I paid for a $3,000 West Elm couch. Also, the couch is ginormous and takes up my entire living room, which is microscopically small. And I actually don't love it. But because I spent over $3,000 on it, it's not going anywhere. I booked a trip to Asia for a month. While on the height of my credit card debt, I just decided to go travel the world. And when I came back from that trip, I was hyperventilating over how much debt I was in. And that was kind of the tipping point that made me start this whole journey. I used to order out food all the time. And when I'm talking about ordering out food, I'm not talking a little bit here and there. I was ordering seafood boils weekly. Seafood boils. Talking like anywhere from $60 to $80 seafood boils right on the credit card. I bought my dad concert tickets for not one, but 2 concerts for $1,000 each. Man's never been to a concert in his life. I don't know why I thought he needed to go to 2, but it was a nice bonding experience for the both of us. But that was $2,000 of debt right there. So obviously I had a problem. I had a big problem with spending money that I didn't have. As I was making this list though, I was like, man, I was living good. I was living real good, but I was living in debt and I was stressed out beyond belief. I wasn't even able to enjoy any of those luxuries because I would feel guilty after each and every one.
No one can live off of these salaries. It was just shown that there's a 109% increase in default credit card payment for those with the highest credit ratings. That's saying a 781 to an 850, 109% increase in credit default. So what's that saying to us? These are the people that, you know, based on credit scores, people have a lot of opinions about credit scores, but they are the best with money. And these people can't pay their bills. They can't pay their credit card bills. How are the rest of the world paying their credit card bills for the people who truly have the bad credit score, who probably have a bad credit score because they don't have the money? It is time that somebody says it, that somebody says to the companies, somebody says to the government, very soon your health insurance is going to be going up by hundreds of dollars. People don't have an extra $100. They don't have an extra $100. If the people who are best at paying their bills are 109% increase in credit default, what's the rest of the world going to do? What are the people with the 400 scores, the 500 scores, the 600 scores going to be doing? We're screwed. We are screwed. People are being paid like it's 2009, like it's 2010. They cannot live off of these salaries. We're screwed.
So I'm having one of those moments where the credit cards are maxed out and the sales have slowed down. So we don't know how we're going to pay our bills for the business this month, going into next month. You know, I'm staying positive that something will come through and we'll get back on top. We always seem to do that, but just, you know, in the in-between days or sometimes weeks, it's really tough to like remember that. So I'm just reminding myself that it'll be okay.
And feeling like you were the only one. You were not the only one. Let me tell you this. I know we initially got this credit card because we thought we were going to be good and responsible, and we wanted to get the cash back, and we wanted to get the travel perks, and we told ourselves, like, I'm not going to overspend. I'm going to pay it off every single month. But then one month that didn't happen, and then one month turned to 2, and one purchase led to another, and then things started to snowball, and now you are completely stressed. You feel like you are completely buried, and you don't know what to do. And it's almost gotten to the point where you're like, what does it even matter at this point? I might as well just spend. I might as well just get what I want. I might as well just put another couple $100s on here because we're already so buried. What's the point?
I had a 700 credit score, even though I had $12,000 of credit card debt when I was in my 20s. Let me tell you how. At 18, I opened my first credit card and I started using it. And like most young people, I didn't realize what I was doing. And I racked up $12,000 of